Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PopGlitz.com Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, JaVonni Brustow, owner of PopGlitz.com. Today's panel includes the Glaminati, consisting of our very own Tiani Spears. How are you, Tian?
I'm 15, living in the middle of Miami.
And we also have Tiger Lily of TigerLilyRocks.com. How are you, Tiger Lily?
I am great. How are you?
I am wonderful. All right, guys, so we have had some very interesting relationship events that have taken place this week. Rapper Young Berg, who is on The Real House, wrong, which show is he on?
They're all the same.
He's on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood.
Okay.
He's on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood.
Thank you. So, what was it, just about a week ago, as the song goes, he had just decided to knock out and drag his girlfriend by her hair, tried to choke her, and he has now been thrown off of the show. Now, this is a rapper who, he's only had one album out, yet he's been rapping for about a good 15 years. I don't know if you all are aware that he's been around for that long. So after all these years and being with DMX in like 2001, which is probably the last time that he was relevant, he finally gets on reality television, finally gets relevant after all these years, and look at how he throws it away. Now, do you all agree that he should be thrown off of the show? Should he get another chance? You know, there's so much fighting going on reality television these days. Is that a fair decision, Tian?
I don't know. Oh, my God. See, this is one of those situations where, to me, I'm like, okay, I get the fact that what he did was wrong. And, you know, I understand, you know, wanting to fire him. But at the same time, I look at other situations, and Jocelyn and Stevie J, they're still on the Atlanta one. In fact, I don't think that it's fair that Benzino and Althea got fired.
I agree.
I wouldn't say that I understand him getting fired from this show. I feel like maybe they should let him not be in a couple of episodes or reduce his screen time or something. He's barely getting it anyway. I don't think that firing him completely was a good move, personally.
So when I asked you that question, it really was rhetorical, and I really thought that the answer would have been, of course, yes, he should have been fired because violence is wrong, and it is showing a bad example because you just have no business choking out your girlfriend, and that does not look good to the viewing public.
Well, that's true. However, did we actually see that happen? I mean, this is TMZ, for crying out loud.
Well,
granted, TMZ, they have their moments where they are on it, but then other times it's like, okay, there's a possibility that they could be stretching the truth or they could be messing this up. I mean, making something up. I mean, Janet Jackson clocked him last year, so they lost all credibility with me.
My thing is this. Just because Morgan came out the other day on the Breakfast Club and stated that Ray J, sorry, I'm like looking at a Jay-Z article too, that Ray J put his hands on her. And we also saw how Ray J was acting with Yessie Ortiz, so how come he wasn't let go? You know what I mean, from the show.
Exactly.
He's very volatile, in my opinion. He's just as bad. You can't fire one and try to make an example out of them when there were many before that person that have done the same thing, and they've got away with it.
That's what happens when you're the Michelle of
VH1. I'm sorry?
That's what happens when you're the Michelle of the group. I mean, unfortunately, with Jocelyn and Stevie J.
You got to draw. You can't say that it's because they did this, but then there's plenty others that are doing it every episode. I mean, Jocelyn puts her hands on people all the time or threatens to beat up people. And even though it's a man putting his hands on a woman, people should keep their hands off of other people in general if it's not in an affectionate way. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's a man putting his hands on a woman or a woman putting her hands on a man. Your hands belong to yourself. And in general, I feel like, and I used to be like a reality show watcher all the time, but I think that it's gotten to a point that Mona Scott is trying to just keep these viewers. She's not thinking of the ramifications of it. These people have kids and things like that. She should be trying to uplift them and not make them look foolish. And we're all just as guilty because we sit and watch it. But then I've come to a point where I don't even really watch some of them anymore because I'm tired of seeing that all the time. It just makes us look foolish. But I agree with the decision to let him go, but at the same time, you need to do the same thing with the other people. Ray J should be let go. Jocelyn, not Stevie, because I'm not seeing Stevie put his hands on anybody else. It's mostly Jocelyn. If somebody's on drugs, they should not be on the show because that's promoting the wrong type of a, message out there, and, praising these people for that is wrong.
How many people in L.A. or how many people in Hollywood are not on drugs? I mean, it would be kind of hard to cast for Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, but she's clearly like Jocelyn on Atlanta. She's clearly on something. Something's not right, or she needs help. Instead, we're like laughing and kikiing about it, but there's a serious issue going on in there, like whether it's drugs or not. But my whole point of it is, don't make an example out of Berg, and you're not going to do it to these other people who are just as volatile. I mean, they're on TV fighting people. He didn't do it on TV. We didn't see it happen. Not to say that he didn't do it. I definitely feel that he should be let go, but you need to do the same thing to the other people. But she's not going to do that because they're her cash cow, and that's not fair to do that.
That's true. I do feel that these fights that happen, and people like Jocelyn Hernandez, with her being the show's cash cow, that is very representative of the industry. Yes, it makes the black community look bad. It makes them look bad. It's a bad example. But isn't the industry pretty much ran the same way? I mean, that we have people out in the forefront shucking and jiving, making the people in the background money. Now, as for Jocelyn being obviously on drugs, we have a clip of her. Well, that sounds like pretty quality television to me. Now,
I mean,
I
but
agree.
You just might as well leave Young Berg on there then. I just don't believe in punishing one and you're not going to punish the other. I really have not consistently watched that show. Okay, that's enough of that. I can't do it. I mean, these are artists who are all struggling, kind of, and it's just a level of ratchetness that is kind of hard to look at. Now, as for this fight, and I'm not really blaming one or the other, even though I don't condone fighting your girlfriend, Young Berg, the only thing that he's really known for is having his chain stolen. Not once, but twice. And
wait a minute. I forgot all about that.
Yes. In 2008. Then it happened again in 2010.
Who sold it the first
time? If I was
time?
his significant other, I mean, it just seems to me that you might want to just play along a little bit, just to help give your man a little bit of shine, so that he's known for something other than being jacked for his jewelry.
Who sold the necklace the first? Was it Nene? Or did Nene slap him or something?
Hey,
I forgot all about
doesn't matter. Yes, he was slapped. They stole his jewelry and slapped him in the face.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to mention one of his songs, The Business.
Oh, I was going to ask if anyone could name a hit of his, because I certainly can't.
There was only one, The Business. With that concert.
Really? I thought it was the hold on, Young Berg.
Didn't he do a song with Ray J? Wait, he did do another song with Ray J.
It was Sexy Lady was one of his songs.
That's Sexy Can I?
No, it was Sexy Lady.
Was it Sexy Lady? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Ray J have a song called Sexy Can I with him as well?
Let me see. I remember Sexy Can I, but I can't remember who sang that off, which is terrible.
Let me see. Okay, so he has Sexy Lady featuring Junior.
Sexy Can I is with Young Berg and Ray J, yes.
It is. Okay. All right. Well, so much for that. Oh, well. Life goes on. I mean, like I totally agree with Sierra. I feel like you can't punish one without punishing the other, yet at the same time, it's kind of Berg's fault because, like Bonnie said, you know, people basically forgot about you and you're on TV. People are talking about you again. Yet, here you go, you're doing this. The season isn't even over. It's basically just getting to the middle of it, and it's actually starting to get good. Yet, you want to go here in the middle of all of this and mess that up for yourself. I honestly
listen,
about it.
The season's over, and they clearly have not gotten paid because that's what started this whole fight in the first place. because his card got declined. So I need for Mona to start giving them a pay advance before she has them going into a reunion show and thinking they're about to order liquor and everything when they go back to their hotel.
Well, they shot the reunion show yesterday from what I read earlier. And also, there's some things that went down at their reunion show. I don't know.
This was last week, the reunion show. They were shooting that last week because that's how Morgan's hand got messed up.
Oh, wow. So
yeah, because there was a fight with her and Ray J's girl. What's her name, Princess?
Don't know.
Yeah, so there was a fight, and so Morgan's hand is cut up.
Speaking of irrelevant, the way that I see it, the cast of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Felicia's A through H.
Except for my baby Lil Fizz, who is doing what he needs to do to be a great father for his son. Yes.
By trying to force a young girl into being a stepmom when she's clearly not ready to be.
Basically. And you know what? If that was me, I wouldn't have to be forced. I would willingly cross that track.
Oh, we know you
would. Would you be the stepmother or the stepfather?
Whatever I need to be.
He'd be the he'd be the homemaker.
Look,
it won't happen.
Now listen, what about when women are the aggressors? Nicki Minaj just finished chasing her boyfriend out of the house with a baseball bat and busted up his car.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't think there's anyone who actually does not believe that story because she herself says all the time that she's bipolar. Mm-hmm. I mean, in one song, I was actually concerned. I was concerned for her mental stability at the fact that you can rap like Foxy Brown and then speak in a British voice and talk regularly all in the same song. That is an exorcism that is scary as hell.
That is talent.
And the police were called, as they should, for chasing your boyfriend around the house with a baseball bat, but there were no arrests made because the car that she busted out the windows in, she paid for. And
I figured that.
You can't get arrested for effing up your own car, effing up your own property. Any thoughts on that? Has Nicki officially lost it? Is it time for a new medication prescription?
I honestly, it's her own car. I mean, I don't know why she couldn't just take the keys away from me, but I mean, it was in 2012. With people like that, I'm sure that it needed an upgrade. I don't know. Like, things happen with relationships. They're celebrities, but they're still human like the rest of us. I mean, we've all been to that point. I've never done that, but I've had moments where I've wanted to chase someone with a baseball bat, but I haven't done it. I just feel like we still have to realize that they're human, and they have things that go on in their personal life.
To all future suitors of Tiger Lily, I hope that you're listening when her response to chasing her boyfriend with a baseball bat is, things happen.
Things happen.
Oh, my God. I will not chase you with a baseball bat, and I'm definitely not going to chase you with a baseball bat for a car that I paid for. But that's
that takes all the fun out of it. That's just the thing. Taking
that
the
you're
away,
looking like,
that's
really?
not
I
enough.
bought this.
Firstly,
I think that she might be bipolar. I don't know.
She is. Anyone remember her in 2007 rapping when she actually sounded and looked like a man?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's bipolar.
Polar by. Firstly, this was like the fourth major fight that we've heard that they've had. Yet at the same time, she never publicly came out and said, like, this is my boyfriend. You know? Like back in like 2011, after she started blowing up, some situation that I can't remember took place. And, you know, they were rumored to break up again, yet, you know, a couple of months later we see him in her video. And I understand her being upset. You know, when you're mad and when you're fighting, you say things and you do things when you're arguing with people. I know for a fact that when me and my guy go at it, it's like World War 18. And, you know, when you have someone like Nicki Minaj who says what's on her mind, and she's a tough woman and she's very opinionated, you know, things are going to happen. Do I understand her running around with a baseball bat? Absolutely not. This is in the field. Do I understand her wrecking her Mercedes? No. But, you know, when you're in a moment, hey, who's to say what you can do? I personally feel like after she blew up, after her first album, she should have broke up with him then, just because she knew, or they both knew, that things weren't going to be the same. Like, it was different back when we didn't know her and she was still underground and she was still trying to get to where she is now. But, you know, sometimes when you're in a relationship with people before you make it big, it doesn't really work out. It's like
I just need her to quit acting like Keisha Cole out here.
What is
She's better than those fish dinners.
It's like that. Wait a minute. Come on,
I mean, she went ratchet. She's acting like Keisha Cole. That's the only thing. Like, don't turn into Keisha.
Keisha outside of every major award show selling fish plates. Yes, I understand. I mean, as far as Nicki being bipolar, I can understand that. I mean, you know, like Bonnie said, she's British in one section of the song. She's singing, then she's speaking Spanish, and she's
Roman.
She's going a lot. I think
she has a song that says, "Take your medication, Roman." I think she forgot one day.
I am not Jasmine. I am Aladdin. So far ahead, these bums is lagging. I'm starting to feel like a Dungeon Dragon. Look.
Now, listen, the other rapper, Young Bird, who I tried to put on Real Housewives of Atlanta, probably because season 7 just started last night, so we still have that. We still have that on our minds. And what was episode 1 called? What with Miss Kenya Moore?
Listen,
now,
season
Apollo
7 got off
Nida,
to a good start.
Yeah, I felt like it could have been a little better, but hey, a cast member going off to jail, I could deal with that. I think that was kind of juicy enough. Apollo Nida is headed off to jail for about 8 years for
5 that would be mandatory.
Mm-hmm. A maximum of 30.
Wow.
Maybe he'll learn his lesson. And his wife, Phaedra Parks, decided not to show up to court to show up to sentencing. And when he asked her about it, her response was, "What difference would it make if I were to show up?" You know, she did a Hillary quote. What difference does it make? Now, if you're with someone who did something, ended up in a situation that would land them in prison, I've never been there. I've never been around that type, so I can't necessarily say. Could you see yourself going to visit your significant other in jail? Would that just be it? Would you all call it quits from there?
I've definitely dated people that have been to prison, or some are in prison right now. And here's my take on it. Phaedra knew ahead of time when she was marrying Apollo. Apollo, as we all know, was one of Phaedra's clients back in the day. So you knew what it was before you even got in a relationship with this man, because you represented him on criminal, charges. So then you decide to marry him. That's all fine and dandy. I mean, like I said, I've been there. My thing is that Phaedra tries to pretend that she's better than other people and that she's just so pristine and just this Southern Belle bullshit that nobody's buying. Just be real about what your situation is. So for her to marry him, knowing his situation, and even like he told her, on last night's episode, he didn't have anything to pay, like with bills and stuff like that. So how the hell did he come up with $5,000 and $8,000 a night to spend on strippers? So you mean to tell me when he made that statement, you weren't wondering, well, where the hell is my man getting money from? Because I'm paying the bills in the house.
What happened to female intuition is the thing that
and that's what
I don't understand.
That's what I'm getting to. If you're supposed to be an attorney, are you meaning to tell me that you're that naive that you can't tell when something's going on? Like, she may not have known everything that he was doing, but I feel that she knew something, even if it was just within her heart. But what kind of attorney is not picking up on that? We all could see that Apollo was slick and fly. I don't see how she didn't. She just wanted pretty babies. She wanted a storyline, but then she didn't want to share what else was going on in her marriage, but she wants to be on TV. And now she's worried about what other people have to say about the situation, but she wasn't worried about their opinions when she married him. She should have been there to support him, in the court. Whether she agrees with it or not, you're still his wife. You need to be there, just to kind of show that united front, just like Teresa Giudice did with Joe. And now they're both going to jail. But she never talks bad about her husband during this whole ordeal, even though that she's upset because he put her in this situation to where now she has to serve, prison time. Get a divorce or something after the sentence, after you hear the sentence and everything. But during that time, you need to kind of stick by your man. And just like Candy told her, Hillary was still standing by, Bill with the Monica Lewinsky situation. It doesn't mean she agreed with it, but that's your wife. So, you would expect her to be there no matter what. Now, am I going to be visiting you in prison and stuff? I don't know. I don't really want that lifestyle for myself anymore. But if we're married at that time, of course I'm going to be at the court hearing.
I'm going to be at the court hearing. I'm putting money on the books. I'm visiting. I am there. I am ride or die. Die or ride. I am there through it all, through those tacky orange suits, to the black and white ones that I just am not here for because they remind me of Beetlejuice. I am there. Support. However, if this is longer than a year, I will not, and just refuse to go on with these shenanigans. Now, do I agree with Phaedra not going to the hearing? Absolutely not. This is the man not only that you're married to, this is the father of your two children. You know, you should want to be there, not even if it's not to support him, you should want to be there so you can know what's going on, because, of course, the kids are going to grow and they're going to ask questions, and you need to be able to let them know what happened. You need to be able to sit down with them and explain the situation to them when they wonder where's Daddy. I also agree with Tiger when she said that, you know, Phaedra just really wanted the storyline. And, you know, back when she first made her appearance on the show, and she was lying about how far along she was in her pregnancy, something should have let everyone know right then and there that she just wanted to be on television, or she's only doing this for the camera. And then she got caught in the lie, of course. And,
we knew
you know,
she was a flake. When that
started. She exposed herself after that situation because everybody was like, okay, well, this doesn't make sense and all of that. But,
she's an
you know,
attorney.
if he's not
what
working.
Did we expect?
Lie.
True. That's true.
But that is one of the most ignorant lies I have ever encountered in my entire life. Sheree said,
but she's been lying this whole time.
You don't know, bitch, you don't know when you got knocked up? She said, even girls in the hood who don't know who the daddy is know when they got knocked up.
Exactly.
And Phaedra was like, they're like, when are you going to have the baby? She said, child, I don't know. I just want this thing up out of me. I'm just going to go to the hospital and tell them to take it out.
I remember that.
I could never take her seriously after that again.
Phaedra's just full of shit,
I
in
never
my
want to hear
opinion.
anything else. I never wanted to hear anything else from Miss Shady Faye.
I don't like how they did Kenya. Kenya's had her issues. I'm not just like on Team Kenya, but at the same time, I don't like how they made her out to be just this whore and all this. Like, they did all that talking, but meanwhile, you need to be worried about what's going on in your own household while your husband's about to go to prison, but you running around calling somebody a whore and acting like your shit don't stink. And now look at you.
The one who was at the sperm bank trying to pick up men who were getting $10 in a slice of pizza for donating their sperm so that she could have a baby. Well, as far as making her out to be a whore, and I think they were kind of mean to her, but I mean, when you decide to get on camera and talk about how quote unquote fine someone else's husband is, and you are also on film bending completely over in front of someone's husband in front of an entire group of people, that doesn't really help your case very, very much. I love Kenya. I think that she's very calculating in what she's doing. I've always said that, you know, her whole storyline, all that stuff, I think is made up because that's just her. You know, that's the producer in her, where she has produced her life for television. You know, produced her make-believe life, including her Casper the Friendly Boyfriend that Portia likes to call it. But as for the whore card, hey, look, you brought it on yourself. I mean, she brought it on herself, and she's living on Whore Island all by herself.
16 in the middle of Miami.
She earned her place on Whore Island.
No money, no family. 39 in the middle of Whore Island. You know, how old is she? 40?
Tack on a couple years.
42.
We have like there's about one person on that show in their 30s.
Who is that?
Portia.
You
know, the one who thought that there was the actual physical
railroad.
Yes, the Underground Railroad.
I don't watch the show. I actually forgot that the new season premiered last night because I did want to catch it because, you know, I knew how big it was going to be, and I knew that everybody was going to watch it. Even my grandmother was in last night. But, you know, from what you guys say, from what I hear about Kenya, she's literally one of those people where either you love her or you hate her. There is no in-between.
I think that there's an in-between in a way only because she makes me squeamish sometimes. Like, I'm like, oh, my God, what is she about to say? And some of the things she says makes me not like her, but I'm rooting for her at the same time because she's the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say she's the underdog because everyone's after her, but she definitely brings something to the table that they're jealous of, in my opinion. She gives the show, like, life. I mean, her and Nene, even though I can't stand Nene, like, Nene used to be my favorite character because she was like that. But Nene's head has gotten so big, I mean, it's just like, I can't stand her. And it's not even like I love to hate Nene. Like, I literally do not like Nene as a person. She's just too cocky for me. She's, like, running on the last leg of these 15 minutes. Like, I cannot wait until her bubble is burst. She's just not humble.
Her bubble burst, in my opinion, last night on Watch What Happens Live after the season 7 premiere, where she walked out on the set in drag makeup, where she looked like she got busted in the head with a bottle of baby powder, and that helmet golden wig that she had on her head.
And they need to quit putting those light-skinned woman wigs on her head. Like, that blonde does not work for her skin tone. And
I like, you know, like Mary J. Blige and her shorter blondes. Those I felt worked because it wasn't a lot. It wasn't very overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
But the further that it got along, it was a little too much. I actually like the style of the wig that Nene had.
Nene's style of that wig was nice, but it needed to be darker.
Or in my opinion, half as big. It looked like a helmet. It was had this lovely flow to it, wavy flow.
That wasn't the hair. That was her brain swelling from all that big-headedness that she has going on.
That Trump check and that canceled NBC show. That Trump check and that canceled NBC show, yes.
Mhm. Yeah, she just.
And that Range Rover that she had that was, or whatever that car was that Sheree said she had repoed. Yeah, that too. And the house that she was evicted out of. Yes, don't forget that.
Yeah, Nene just needs
Check that.
Nene needs to go back to being humble. She's allowed this to get to her head, and when it crumbles on her, she's not going to have anybody but Greg.
Mhm.
You know, like she's just making a fool out of herself, and I think that that's the thing. I'm like, I get embarrassed for other people. So I'm like, oh, my God, shut up, Nene, because eventually you're not going to be, you know, on top. And
I think that she's the highest paid person on reality television. I believe it was $1.5 million that she received for this season. However, they were considering bumping her down to part-time and just paying her $500,000. How her negotiations resulted in her receiving triple the amount of money that they originally wanted to give her, I don't know. I'll just say that the bitch is good. Her ratings for her and her husband Greg compared to everyone else they said was the lowest on the show. That people actually essentially didn't want to see her after last season.
We do not want to see her.
You remember that trip to Mexico that Kenya brought everyone on, and Nene, I think Greg was in the bed on all fours acting like a horse. That was pretty creepy and bizarre, if you remember that. But nobody wants to see that. She was talking about how, Greg acted up, and I divorced Greg. Greg acted up again. I divorced Greg again. Nobody wants to see you. Yes. No one wants to see you and your this fake divorce of yours. I mean, this whole roller coaster relationship that she had, where she was finally introduced to family members that he wouldn't allow her to meet for the last 15 years, and whatnot, all of that drama. And if you notice, I mean, again, the ratings speak for themselves. People don't want to see it. And Kenya Moore brought up her little incident in L.A. with Apollo yet again, 2 years later, still mulling over the same details about whether or not they had a little fling in L.A. because, well, you know, I guess that's both of their storylines. It may be old, and people may continue to ask, why are we still talking about it? But apparently, I mean, we know who the star is. Her story can be old. It can be 2 years old. But her 2-year-old story is making her the hit star of the show. So, and you know that Kenya is on The Apprentice, and you heard Nene say last night, been there, done that.
Trump check, proposing. That was actually the only season of The Celebrity Apprentice I watched, actually. Just the season where she called Latoya Jackson Casper the Ghost. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Was that the one with Dionne Warwick?
That was the one with Dionne Warwick.
I remember her, see. I remember that.
Yes. That was the only season of The Celebrity Apprentice that I watched.
Now,
I just had to.
I want to ask you, do you think that Kenya Moore has potential to be a bigger star than Nene is, or to, you know, go beyond whatever height that Nene claims or says that she's at right now?
As far as for reality TV?
No, in general. You know, Nene she's on Broadway now, and she was performing in Vegas on the show. Kenya's had a lot of smaller television appearances in television roles on a lot of black shows, but Nene appears to be up there, and she's mainstream now.
But then Kenya's still in her right, you know, like she was still the former Miss USA. I mean, even though it was a long time ago, we don't want to take that away from her. I think that that's something that we, you know, in our community, we don't acknowledge things like that. We always say, oh, that was in the past, you know. But how many of us could be put in that place? Kenya is a beautiful woman. I think that Nene is
very gorgeous.
Yeah, she is. I mean, there's so many men that want Kenya, you know, and I think that Nene is intimidated by her. I don't see Kenya being as big of a reality show star as Nene, as far as like getting her millions and millions of dollars. But
do you think her career that at this point in time, and I think they're possibly maybe 5 years apart in age, which if you look at them side by side is a little hard to imagine. You think they would be about 10 years apart. Say that again.
Kenya's 43.
43 versus Nene's, I don't know. I'm sure she's close to 50.
Nene's probably almost 50.
Yeah.
Almost.
Nene's 46, actually.
See, and do they look like they're 3 years apart? Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Nene was older.
Remember when Nene went to the beach or they were talking about going to the beach and to Candy, and Nene said that she always wears two pieces, and Candy said, "Oh, really?"
You don't need to.
Definitely shading that remark.
I think that Kenya has those women beat. Kenya's a good-looking, you know, black woman. Like, Kenya looks like Black Barbie to me. And I don't see her career getting any worse, but I don't see it getting to where Nene's is. Even though we don't really care for Nene's personality right now, Nene is a personality. I mean, Kenya is, I don't know, people think she's crazy now because of the show. At least with Nene, we just think she's shady, but we don't think that she's nuts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know
So nobody's going to take Kenya as serious as they do Nene. Like, Nene has a team behind her. Nene has the gays behind her.
I mean,
Kenya still has
she's
a
been on that
fan
show
base, but
since
she doesn't
2008.
Yeah, you're not going to. She's like Vicki Gunvalson, you know, for the Real Housewives of Orange County. So they're always going to make more, and people are always going to want them, you know, over other people. And Kenya, I don't see Kenya really bouncing back majorly from doing this show. Sometimes these shows can hurt people that have already established something for themselves. Nene didn't have anything to lose by going on the show in the first place. But Kenya kind of like dirtied herself a little bit by going on here. A Miss USA on this kind of a reality TV show.
Which is exactly what I was about to say. You mentioned earlier, sorry for cutting you off, Bonnie, but you mentioned earlier that, you know, she was the former, that she won Miss USA back in '93. But, you know, people forgot about that, and now it's just going to be known for the most part. People are going, when you say Kenya Moore, they're going to say, oh, that chick from Love and Hip Hop, I mean, not Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the chick from Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know, that's
they're not going to say Miss USA.
That's going to be the first thing that they say, because they're not going to remember that, so she won, you know, Miss USA. Okay, wow.
No, see, even though Kenya has become the star, has essentially become the star of the show, her vulnerabilities tend to come out during the reunion. And it was kind of surprising to me to see this woman who is just such the villain to everyone else, and she was pretty cruel to some of these other women. And for the fights that she got into, hey, I could totally see it. I don't condone, you know, having to resort to violence for anything and beating on anyone. And just as she said, she's good at using her words. She said, I'm the best at it. And we're grown, and we should be able to handle ourselves as adults with our words. But if you notice, every reunion show, she gets into this kind of whiny voice, and she's talking about people making fun of her and picking on her and mocking of her trying to have children and things like that. But look at all the things that you did to everyone else. And you don't see Nene ever get into that kind of state of mind of essentially playing the victim, because that's kind of what Kenya's been.
Yeah, Kenya's known for playing the victim.
You don't
but
see
Nene's
that
known for not
villain.
owning up to what her faults are.
Yeah, you don't see that villain and bully anymore. It's like seeing the facade dismantled in front of our eyes.
They're just a hot mess. I don't know. Like, I'm not feeling Nene, but at the same time, Nene's definitely a hustler. She's making her money, and I cannot hate on that. I don't want to see her on Housewives anymore, but, I mean, it definitely makes for good TV. At the end of the day, it definitely makes for TV, but I feel like we can do without it altogether.
We have to have one more season of Nene. I mean, they have to bring in Sheree. There were stories about Sheree Whitfield coming back in. They have to do it because there needs to be someone to check Nene. You know, the whole "who gonna check me, boo"?
Who gonna check me, boo?
Sheree, yes, Nene needs to be checked because she got to a point where her relationship was perfect, or so she was portraying, and her relationship was fine, her career was fine, and she just was basically making fun of everyone else just because she could. And she felt that she was above all of the other women. She flew everyone out to L.A. to see her perform. And then, you know, all of a sudden, all that blew up in her face. but there has to be someone to put her into her place. Kenya appeared to be that person. She got under her skin, but not quite. There are only two people that we've seen who had the ability to really ruffle Nene's feathers, and that was Sheree
Kim and Sheree.
And Kim Zolciak. Wig.
And Dwight.
Come on, Wig.
And Dwight.
Oh, Dwight and his little
DeWong.
pinch nose.
Remember they changed him to DeWong?
I can't take this.
Until he has his nose fixed, because that's the first thing she's going to go for. That's not going to happen.
I'm not even about to partake.
Now, I almost forgot about something. Miss Beyonce knows. You all see the video of her high this week? Allegedly.
Yes. Beyonce was not high. Firstly,
she had a song in their head that we just couldn't hear.
All right, so I think it was the Knicks game, and she had the glazed eyes. She's just staring ahead, and she's just off in her own world, just bobbing her head back and forth. The poor girl doesn't know if she's coming or going. She doesn't know if she's in Houston or New York. just bobbing her poor little head.
Oh my God! She doesn't know if she's in Houston or New York.
Disclaimer: I have never done any type of drugs before, but I will say that I know this. I know the stuff when I see it. And as I said, don't forget, I spent a couple years working in the social service arena. So you know the stuff when you see it. Oh, that's high. Now, I'm not going to say that it was necessarily drugs. I think that it could have possibly been prescription, but that was a side of her that we have absolutely never seen before. So what would you say that you think that is? Now, Tian, seriously, are you saying that she's not on anything there?
Honestly, I don't. Okay, this is the thing about Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's like no matter what we see them do or what happens, they're never actually going to address it. When they do address it, they're going to play it off so coyly. And, it's the people in the media, and I like to consider us as the people and the media. How you doing? And, because we're limited, we're only going off of what we see. And I can't say what was going on with Beyonce at that point. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she was upset, or I don't know if she popped a pill in the back. I don't know if she had some of that good OG Kush. I really don't know. I mean, personally, I feel like something happened, and she probably got a phone call, and she got upset. But because she's at the basketball game with Jay-Z, she's trying to calm herself down because she's out in public. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she popped a pill. I don't know. Who cares?
We will never know until Blue Ivy gets old enough to tell the story of their House of Horrors.
And she's going to tell it. When Blue Ivy gets old enough to tell the story about her mommy getting high and how her mother would get high and not comb her hair.
Yes, and she's gonna be like, you know what? I've had to deal with this hair for 15 years, and now it's my time to speak my truth.
Me and Rick go at it all the time because of Beyonce and Jay-Z. Rick, that's my boyfriend. We go at it all the time.
Oh, hey, boo.
Yes. We go at it all the time about Jay-Z and Beyonce, mainly because he feels like their entire relationship is fake and it's for publicity. And me being a fan of Beyonce and seeing her together with Jay-Z and seeing how he loves her and how she loves him, I just don't see it as fake. I see it as I stated earlier, the media just going off of what they can because they're so private. We will probably never know what happened until, like you guys said, until Blue Ivy decides to tell
that enough is enough. She's tired of growing up in a homeless household.
Now, can I tell you? Oh, yes. Now, can I tell you why I think? Well, number one, I'm just going to declare this is fact about her being high. It's just okay. Number two, the reason why that I think that she was high. You heard the story about how Beyonce has not been. She's been asking Jay-Z to lose weight because all he does is he just sits on his ass in the studio. He's not mobile. He's hardly moving around. When was the last time you saw Jay-Z work a stage? Now,
during the On the Run tour, he was doing some moving and shaking and jiving. Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. Now,
he was doing the old man shuffle.
Yeah.
Come through.
According to that body, he hasn't been doing that much shuffling. But Beyonce's been trying to ask him to lose weight, and he refuses to do it. And she's been trying everything to do it. And lately, they say that she's been withholding sex, saying that she's no longer turned on by him as a last-ditch effort to get him to lose some weight.
How was she turned on by him in the first place?
Exactly. I was like, let's be honest. How on earth was she turned on from him at the beginning? This is Beyonce.
Wait a minute. How was she turned on by him? Remember that song Ego? Do I have to sing the lyrics to you?
No, don't sing it.
Do you remember that?
No. Of course I remember it. I was listening to it earlier today, actually. Okay. But facially.
He's facially challenged.
This is Beyonce. Hate her, like her, love her, find her annoying. This is Beyonce. She's very beautiful. She's a very beautiful woman. You would expect someone who looks like her to be with someone like Idris Elba or Usher or that other light-skinned guy with the pretty eyes in the Think Like a Man movie. What's his name, Tiger?
And Think Like a Man.
Michael Leahy. You would want her, you would expect her to be with someone like that, but of all of the people, she chose Jay-Z. What is it that she seen in Jay-Z? I mean, I know for a fact that she didn't see that ego first. What is it that she saw in Jay-Z that just made her just, I don't know.
And it's not the money because she has her own. She probably is worth more than he is.
She is worth more than he is, but we're not going to go there. That's a horse.
Why are they together? The lyrics of the song goes, it's too big, it's too wide, it's too strong, and it won't fit. There you have it, folks.
Apparently it fit well enough to make Blue Ivy. You know what? I'm not about to do this with you guys. It's Monday, for one. For two, this is Beyonce and Jay-Z we're talking about. I mean, at the end of the day, the only time we will actually know anything about Beyonce and Jay-Z is when Beyonce and Jay-Z say it themselves. Until they say it themselves, we're just going to be stuck here coming up with 100 more possibilities of why she was rocking side to side with her XO hair and Drunken Love hair. That's the hair she had in the XO and Drunken Love video. So, I don't know. Of course, sometimes shit goes down when it's $1 billion in the elevator. How about that?
And on that note, I'm going to conclude tonight's show. This was a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the PopGlitz podcast for the evening, featuring the Glaminati, myself, the media mogul, owner of PopGlitz.com, Tiani Spears. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Tiger Lily, thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Are you welcome? And until next time, tune in to PopGlitz.com for the latest entertainment news.